So the next step in creating our painting using oil paints, this may be a review for some, but new stuff for others. So I want you to understand the technique. We've made a palette, so we're ready to mix our paints, and that's the one thing we needed to make. The other thing we need to do before we actually apply the paint is we need to get a reference onto the board on those. And so I'm going to just set this up here like this. And I need to recreate this drawing on here. A lot of times I find it's easiest to maybe start with what's in front and work our way back. That way things overlap. So maybe the cylinder, the pyramid, the cube, the large cube, and then the sphere on top of those. So that's kind of where we're going to go. And now this does not need to be exact, but I do want it to fill the page on the, or fill the board. And it looks like this is about halfway up. And it does have some thickness to it. So I'm drawing the sides first for my cylinder. And then my cylinder, oops, I got a little bit wonky there as I was making that. And then it has an upper edge here that is circular, like that. So we can't really see the top of it, right? Now, also, our eye line is about right here on this thing. And so we have to draw, we see the bottom is also a circular thing like this. And so that's the outline for our initial cube, or our initial cylinder. Now, I'm going to do the outline drawing first, and then I'm going to start filling in some of these other things in the background that we have here. And so it looks like I have a pyramid over here. And try and make that somewhat similar. And then I'm going to take this down just a little bit to the side, maybe like that. And then this is pretty shallow. This one is a pretty shallow edge too. So there's my pyramid. I wanted to pick some forms because I didn't want you guys freaking out over the exact thing that you're trying to paint on those. And so there's that guy. And now we have a cube somewhere here in the middle. And so the cube, I'm going to put the center of the cube right here. And I'm going to have it kind of go this way. So that's a vertical line. Okay. As we have that going, at least somewhat vertical. Like that. And then it cuts back a little bit like this. And a little bit like this as well. And then I'm going to pretend like it's coming up right here. Sticks up a little bit like that. And then this one I'm going to pretend is coming up right here. Like that. Now this one we also did not see the top of. So it's got to have a little bit of a thing like this. And a little bit of a thing like this. That's pretty good. Now my sphere, I'm going to have it right up here at the very top. And I'm just going to draw my circle. And we got to pretend that where the bottom is here on that. And the pretend of the bottom is like this. And so we're just trying to draw a circle. Sometimes it's easier to draw a circle if you mark it, you know, like this. And then you say this is the height. And then you put in little fillers on the side like this. And then you just kind of connect the dots, right? And if you do need to erase, you can erase on the gessoed board a little bit. Not all the time, but it's somewhat forgiving. Okay. I think I want that down. That's a little too fat on that side. Maybe bring that in a little bit. Okay, so I have that circle there. Now I have to do the shading, because I want you to do a complete pencil drawing on this particular object. Now we're going to use this as a guide on some of the things we see down here, right? We know that this has a gradient effect coming across here. There might be a little bit of light on this backside here, and there's a cast shadow. So for here, this is the light side. Light source is coming in this way. And so this is our darker side. But I just want you to use your best shading techniques to make this thing a complete value drawing, so going from light to dark. And this can be just a lighter, very light. I'm going to give a larger variety of value across this areas. For shading, I find it's also helpful to start at an edge and work your way towards the middle. So if I start here and I shade towards the middle, a lot of times that works out pretty well. This is very, very light. Pencils are a pressure instrument, which is way cool. But a complete value drawing is what I want. I'll finish shading in maybe the values on this particular object, and then I'll come back and revisit shading the whole thing with you. Using a little bit of hatching technique and maybe a little bit of cross hatching technique so I can get my medium values in there. Remember, a gradient is what we're after in this. That means light to dark. I'm going to shade in this dark side here a little bit more. So for this technique, I want a complete value drawing. Again, outside my lines a little bit, eh? It's best to work up your values slowly when you're making a value drawing. This is just kind of the weight of the pencil on the surface. Pretty cool. And it's got to go a little darker right in here. That's the darkest area. The core value on this one, or core shadow, I should say, core shadow is right in this area here. That's where it's the absolute darkest on the object itself, because it does go a little lighter as it comes towards the edge. Not too much, but a little bit. I'm not really looking a lot right now at the my reference drawing. Okay, so that's kind of like a cylinder, huh? Maybe a little darker in here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because we need to have dark values, our darkest values. We need this many values, okay, in there that we can see. So I need a dark value. I need some lighter values. Good range of value. Okay, not bad. Okay, so there's kind of my initial drawing of my cylinder, right? Looking pretty good. We continue on. I'm going to continue on to finish the value applications for all of these. Things to pay particular attention to. There's usually some little highlight areas you're going to see, but there is a gradient effect on our rounded ones. These ones are more solid. This is a solid fill here. But remember, we're going to have a little bit of a cast shadow happening on these things as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I think what I'll do, I may do a stop motion sort of a thing or whatever, time lapse to finish this out as we try to do that. So that's good enough to show you the beginning of the cylinder so you can start working on your drawings.